All right, it is time for a tag video. Hey everyone, it is Shannon, and I'm super excited to be here today and to share with you this tag video. This is the recycling book tag. I saw this over at John's channel, Books of Blood, which I will leave a link to up above for you to check out. Check them out. It looks like the original for this tag is no longer available. I did hunt around for it with no success. Actually, I got some links and said video not available. But I did find the questions actually from Matt over at Paperback Junkie did this one, and he put the questions. So thank you, Matt, for doing that. I will, as always, leave links down below to everyone mentioned as well as the questions, should you choose to do the tag yourself. So this is the recycling book tag. Did I say that already? I might have forgotten. It's been today. Anyway, so this is all about the theme of recycling, reduce, reuse, recycle, and I thought it was really fun. So let's get started. So first up is Going Green. Name a book with green on the cover or the title. I picked two for this. There's only 5 questions, so sometimes I pick 2, maybe every time I pick 2. So I'm going to answer this with a green cover for a book that I have yet to read, as well as a book that I have read. So yet to read, I have A Song of Wrath and Ruin. This is by Roseanne A. Brown, and I absolutely love this cover. It is so gorgeous. This is the first book in an epic, I think it's an epic fantasy series, and it might be a trilogy, or it might not be a trilogy. Actually, I'm not sure if it's a trilogy. Do not quote me on that. But it is the first book in the series, and it was a 2020 release, and I am very much looking forward to checking it out. Green on the cover, and very much in the spirit of recycling or nature, is Hidden Nature, A Voyage of Discovery by Alys Fowler. I read this early this year, early 2020. Actually, I'm not sure when this tag video is going to go up. I read it early 2020, and I loved it. It's a memoir about a woman who she buys a kayak and explores Birmingham's canal system. A portable kayak, and goes through Birmingham's canal systems, and then there's also a personal story as well, and I found it very, very touching and enlightening and heartfelt and real and on so many levels. So I really, really enjoyed this one. So that's green on the cover that I have read. Question number 2, reduce. Name or show a thin or small book that you own. And I forgot to say, this is for all books that you own, like in your physical library. I guess you could do digital, though. It's harder to find thin titles in your digital library, but I'm sure if you wanted to do that, you could. I actually did decide to go with physical, and I picked one with green on the cover. Well, it actually happened to be, I think, the shortest title I have anyway, and it has green on the cover, and that is The Strange Case of Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde by Robert Louis Stevenson. This is a Dover Thrift Edition, and it is just a wee little slip of a thing. My goodness gracious. It almost tied with my version of Beowulf. That's a Dover Thrift Edition, but Beowulf had one more page. But it's small, but also is the font. And I read this many years ago before I was really back into reading. I wanted to read all of the ones that were, you know what? I read it when Penny Dreadful, the TV series, was coming out. I think, was that it? Or was it for I, Frankenstein? I can't remember. There was some movie or a TV show. God, I miss Penny Dreadful. Oh, I loved it, especially season 1. It was such a good show. Anyway, distracted. Yeah, maybe I read it for that. I heard about like what the characters were going to be in that. So I wanted to read Dracula, Frankenstein, and The Strange Case of Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, which I always have a hard time remembering what the actual full-on title is, but that's what it is. So I loved the 3rd section in this, but I didn't quite grasp the first 2 sections of this. But again, it was before I was doing a lot of reading in this round of Shannon's reading life, which will be a whole other tag. Number 3, reuse. A book that you have that is well worn. This one, I think I've shown this one and a couple other ones in another film tag I did, or another tag that was on books, but I think it got privatized, so hopefully no one remembers that this is my super well-worn book, and this is The Sisters Impossible by J.D. Landis. This is very, very worn. It's got tape all through the spine. It is totally creased. It's not dog-eared. It probably is, like you can see right to the guts of it. And yeah, and I actually, this copy, it actually says my junior high is listed here, but I didn't, I must have got it at some kind of book sale or situation, because I wouldn't have taken it. And I actually mostly remember reading it from the public library, not my school library, so that's a bit weird. This is a teen novel about sisters who are, one is a dancer, and then the other one also takes dance as well, but has a different experience. And I have two sisters, and we all took dance, and so there was a connection there. Although in this, the sisters really, as you can tell by the title, they don't get along, and I actually get along really well with my sisters. So there's not a connect there, but sisters and dancing was enough to be excited about a story that was similar in some way, shape, or form. So yeah, I think I got it like this. Like, as I said, I probably got it at a library book sale or something like that, and I was thrilled to have it. And it's one of the books that I've had the longest, but I'm getting ahead of myself. Okay, next question, number 4, recycle, a book that you have reread or handled the most. So I have a couple of different answers to this, because it was a little like my mind went through different ways of interpreting the question, like, and also thinking about what's a book that you handle a lot. Like, I do a lot of rereading, but often more from the library or digitally. I don't reread my own books a lot. There's a couple of book series where I should have picked a different book, but that's okay. But then I thought of a book. What is a book that I handled a lot? And for that, I'm going to go with Tarot Made Easy by Nancy Garen, because this has a different, as you can see, I have it all tabbed off in color at the top there, and it has a different page for each of the different tarot cards. Let's just randomly pick one. All right, Two of Wands, right? So it goes through the Two of Wands, and it goes through a whole bunch of different ways to interpret the Two of Wands with a different focus, whether it's the home, travel, papers, work, career, outcome, fortune, success, all of these things. And when I unwrapped this, because this was actually a TBR unwrapping at some point, even though I had read it a little bit before, because I've had this for years and years and years. I did actually pick a deck to go through, and I picked a card a day for more than 78 days. There's 78 cards in a tarot deck, if you're unfamiliar. Anyway, but I went through a card a day until I had picked all of the cards. So I have handled this book at minimum 78 times over, I think it was 2018 I did that. So yeah. So reference books are something that you handle a lot. It also has, and it was at minimum probably 80, because I'm sure I read the beginning of it and then the end of it at a different time. And I don't know how many spreads it has. I have the spreads that I use. There's like 3 spreads that I use. I don't really need, 4, so I'm not usually on the lookout for new spreads. But this is one that I used at least 78 times. So Tarot Made Easy. Also, in terms of handling a lot, this is in a different way. I would also say this particular copy of the Bourne Identity, because I split it into 3 volumes. So that actually required a lot of handling. I had to cut it into 3, and then I created first I created this sort of blank page at the end. Ooh, I got a little too close in that. And then I added end pages, and then a new back cover or entire cover, depending on which volume. So it was a lot of work. So there was lots of handling of this, and then there's the back. So that was a lot of handling. And then and I do hope to maybe do a video on this. I've mentioned doing this before. It is a lot of steps, so I'm just trying to figure out what's the best way to do it. Like, am I going to do a video like that as a how-to, or just be like, see me do this thing? But because I feel like if I'm doing a video like that, it should be a how-to, and then you really have to structure it so that people are understanding, so that it's clear what I'm doing in each of the steps and stuff like that. So I'm a little, I don't know. or if I should do it just more like haphazard vlog style. I don't know. And then another book, of course, that I handle a lot, which happens to be green, is my Kindle, right? Because my goodness, I read off of my Kindle every single day. Every single day. So yeah, my Kindle is definitely, I'm gonna need a new cover soon, and I do not have the newest Kindle, so that's gonna be something to solve on another day. So that's something that gets handled all the time. And then question number 5, don't throw that away. What is your oldest book or a book that you refuse to part with? And I picked 2, of course. My oldest, that is the oldest, like this volume was published the earliest out of all of the physical books that I own, is this tiny little book, which is Antony and Cleopatra by Shakespeare. It is part of the Ariel Shakespeare collection, and I have 3 volumes. It was from the Stedman brothers in Brantford, and this, I have 3 like this, but this one's the oldest, and this is from 1896, and it has plates, so it has illustrations. And it is very, very tiny and very, very old. And I actually read this one. I read this one this way. I also have Cymbeline and Coriolanus. Those are the 3 that I kept because I'm looking for more illustrations. Don't play us. Oh, there's one. So, yeah. And I did like this one, not as much as I thought. And so these 3 that I have in my collection are actually from I got them from my dad, and they were his great-grandfathers, so they would be my great-great-grandfathers. So that's the oldest, so 1896 in terms of a publication date, but it's not mine, like a lot of, actually, I think all of these are mine. So many of my books I get secondhand that, I don't know where I was going with that. I don't know. Let's just keep going. So that's the oldest published work where the publication is the date. The book that I have had the longest, and I don't think I would ever give this one up. It's not actually mine. I'm the youngest in my sibling set, so a lot of books and other things that I have are handed down through the family or were someone else's first, or who knows who they were, and if it was mine, I don't know. But this definitely wasn't mine originally. I definitely passed through probably all of us, and that is The Big Tidy Up by Norah Smaridge, illustrated by Les Gray. And so this is obviously a picture book, and it is just so sweet, and the story is about a girl tidying her room. Oh, cat, I forgot about that. And I used to, before I could read, I would just play a game of reading it, of finding all of the lollipops, because there's not a lollipop on the front, but there's lollipops throughout, and there's another lollipop. And so I would just go and find all the lollipops. I thought it was a game. I make everything a game. I did not think of it as a story about cleaning your room. Because who wants to do that? Anyway, so that is the last one. So that's the one that I've had the longest. So it's a golden book. Oh yeah, it's a golden book. I had a lot of golden books when I was a kid. But it's definitely well loved. You know, it's definitely had lots of hands on it, lots of little kid hands, and so I definitely would not get rid of that, nor do I think would I ever get rid of this. So there you go, there is the recycling book tag. If you would like to do this tag, please feel free to do so. I will leave the questions in the description box below. Also, if you want to be tagged and you don't want to jump in, if you had recycling pickup the week that you watch this, you're tagged. You are tagged. Yeah, because here in Toronto, we alternate having recycle pickup and garbage pickup, and then compost pickup is every week for residential, it's different depending. It's funny. It's one of those things, you don't think how different it can be, but it is, the municipalities decide, at least here in Ontario. Actually, I don't know other provinces how they deal with it, but we do alternating recycling pickup on one week and garbage pickup on another week. So, and I remember when there was no recycling pickup. because I'm old. Oldish. I'm not. I don't know. I'm just kidding. I didn't mean to go there. Anyway, that's it for this tag. That's it for this video. I hope that you enjoyed watching it. And if you just let me know what's the oldest book that you own. I think that's an interesting question. And yeah, all right. I will see you in the next video. Thanks so much for watching.